We don't want him to die. Ephraim Goldberg has kids, has a wife. I want him to live to 120. Nachi has a wife, his partner has a wife, Adelstein has kids and grandkids. I want them all to live to 1,000,000 years old and be righteous and go to Gan Eden. If they do tshuva, I'll be the first one to be their biggest fan. If they do tshuva, I will be the first one to make a video celebrating their name of how great they are, that they got to that such a level, that they did tshuva and literally changed their entire lives and their mentality to go to the righteous side. I'll be the first one to celebrate it. I don't want people to die. I don't want people to go to Gehinnom. I don't want people to be in jeopardy. We're not looking for anyone to die. We are looking for people to do tshuva. Even if that means that it's the very same person we spoke against. I think anybody that's been watching my shulim for long enough knows that that's the whole goal of everything. I spoke against a young kid when he said something that was a mistake in one of his videos. And then a couple of months later, I put my life on the line to get him out of prison from Nigeria. Nobody in the world knows, even him, what we did in order to get him out of that prison in Nigeria. Put it that way. Nobody knows what we had to do and what we did just to get him out of there. He doesn't even know himself, even though I saw him after that. He may think that I just made a couple of videos. Now, if whether you know or you don't know, there is a group of young men, first started by Rudy Rachman, and then his team, Andrew Noam Liebman and Edouard David Benaim. These young people went to Nigeria in order to film a documentary about Igbo Jews that the world doesn't know very much about. Fortunately, Rudy and his friends did not know the world does not necessarily always agree with what you think is important. What ended up happening is that Rudy and his friend got arrested by the Nigerian government and are now in prison. Begging all of you to stop doing nothing. The time to act is right now. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a test. And this test, Rabotai, is a test for all of us to see if we're going to unite or we're simply going to sit there and do nothing while one of our people are going to get murdered, are going to get imprisoned for life, which is virtually murder. Right now, these young guys are in prison. They're not in prison in Israel. They're not in prison in America. They're not in prison in a place that's favorable to people like them. And the reality is that their lives are 100% at risk. A bigger risk than anything any of us can imagine. If nothing is done by each and every single one of us, their blood will be on our hands. A lot of stuff went on behind those scenes that only HaKadosh Baruch Hu and 2 other people know. That's it. My wife and other fine. Nobody else knows. So trust me when I tell you, I'm not looking for anybody to die. I don't want anyone to die. I want people to do tshuva. But if they don't want to do tshuva, let HaKadosh Baruch Hu uproot them. Why? That's the reality. It's better for them to be uprooted if they don't want to do tshuva. It's better for them. And this is how the Chachamim write in their Sfarim. This is how the Chachamim write in their Sfarim time and time again. We have some of the Chachamim that literally were like the most sensitive to people in the world. But they see something and say, oh, if they don't do tshuva, it's better that there's some type of takala, some type of accident happens and this person just is eliminated from the world. That would be great for them. Literally, that's what they write in their Sfarim. It's not that you want them to die because that's going to give you some type of pleasure. It's sad. They have kids, they have wives, they have a life, they have people, and so on. So again, don't focus on the people and their personalities, actions themselves. All of them are making very, very serious mistakes. Trust me when I tell you, they're going to regret it if they don't do tshuva. A lot more than you hate it. A lot more than I hate it. They're going to regret it if they don't do tshuva. But it's important for people to know that the goal is to help everyone do tshuva. That's the goal. It's never to be a winner of the argument, to look good, to make money, to be more popular. None of that stuff matters to me. None of that stuff should matter to you. The only thing that should matter is to help people do tshuva. Even if that means that we're going to get a newswire, Manis Friedman decides to do tshuva and regrets every single lecture he's done over the last X amount of years and deletes them from YouTube. Issues a public apology to Klal Yisrael and says, do not believe anything that I said. From now on, I'm going to follow Da'at Torah. Guess what? I will be the first one that says Manis Friedman is a tzaddik. He's a gdolador. He's amazing. He's the great. Why? He did tshuva. Until then, he's a rasha merusha. That's an apikos that goes against the Torah that says to people that HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs us. Until then, if he does tshuva, amazing. Same thing with Ephraim, same thing with everybody else. Currently, we have to hate them. but not hate them personally, hate their action. We want them to do tshuva. Is it possible for them to do tshuva? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. According to the Rambam, it's almost impossible. Once a person becomes a Machtia Rabim, it's almost impossible. But almost impossible means, not literally almost impossible, it just means it's really difficult. They literally have to develop a anava, a humility, like a Moshe Rabbeinu in order to do public tshuva. Because they have to do, just like their sins were public, their tshuva has to be public. So it's very difficult. They can do it. Or else HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not allow them to live. But if they don't want to do tshuva, Shem Yishmo, okay, I tell you. But we do not want people to die. Let's not ever make this mistake. I've said this once, twice, several times in the past. I'm saying it again. We want people to do tshuva. Don't go hunting for heretics. Trust me, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to know about a heretic, he'll come to you by himself. Try to help people. Not to call them out and say, oh, he's a heretic, he's this, he's that. Try to help him if you can. But if you see this person is unhelpable, he's not at a stage in his life to be helped, he doesn't want to be helped, he rejects all truth, then you have to run away from him, you have to kick him out, you have to do whatever you can. If he's a public speaker of some kind or a public influence, you have to protest against them, speak against them. But it's nothing for the sake of uplifting yourself or for any type of benefit whatsoever. There is, other than doing the will of Hashem, there's no benefit in doing any of this stuff. People think that, oh yeah, it's great, nothing great about it. It's sad. It's sad to know that there's going to be countless people that are going to go to Gehenom without coming out. Trust me when I tell you it's sad. If you knew 5% of what I know about what happens after this life, you would cry for these people. Not because you have mercy for them now. You're not allowed to have mercy for them now. You have mercy for them, what's going to happen to them when they can't help themselves, when they leave this world. And how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish them to no end. To no end. The Holocaust becomes like a kindergarten game next to what's going to happen to these people if they don't do tshuva. Trust me when I tell you, when I think about this stuff, I cry. Because nothing can help them once they leave this world. Nothing, no Kaddish, nothing can help them. Nothing. They can build 5 yeshivot in their name, it won't help them. Nothing can help them. If they leave this world this way, nothing can help them. And you have no idea what's going to happen to these people and their supporters. The people that donated money and resources to Ephraim or to Manis or to Meza or any of these Reshaim. You have no idea what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do to them if they leave this world this way. You have no idea. People have no concept of what happens after this life. No concept of anything. People are clueless. They think we live in some IOU where HaKadosh Baruch Hu owes us stuff. People have no idea, nothing, no clue whatsoever what happens after this world. And trust me when I tell you, you will not want, even if you end up going to Gan Eden, you will not want to know that there's people in Gehenom once you know what's in it. You have no idea what happens in those places. No idea. There is no reason in the world for anyone to be happy that someone is a wicked person. We have to know that these people are also HaKadosh Baruch Hu's kids, and we want them to do tshuva. But we cannot, under any condition, accept their current behavior as acceptable. We have to protest for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name and honor. We have to speak against them. We have to do everything possible that's allowed according to halacha to discredit them in every single way. You're even allowed to say Lashon Hara about people like this. You're even allowed to make up stuff if you want. If it's going to help people, stay away from them. But doesn't mean that we want them to die this way. These are HaKadosh Baruch Hu's babies. But at the same token, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has laws for himself. That although they are his children, once they've forsaken him, once they went against him, he's obligated to punish them. Just like a mother that has kids, that she put her whole life on a line to raise them. And those kids one day just decide, we don't want to play with you. We don't want to listen to you. We don't want to love you. And that mother, her heart is broken into 50 million pieces. But at the same token, she knows that if she allows them to continue behaving this way, those kids will become little Hitlers. Those kids will become a disaster, and not only a pain for her, but a pain for society. And therefore, she is forced to punish those kids in order to have them behave better. Does she enjoy punishing them? No, she hates it. She suffers more than them, but she has to do it. The same thing happens with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, le'avdil melech elef avdalot. He has to punish his kids. Why? For the sake of the Torah itself and for the sake of his righteous people. And if that means he has to punish his kids that went against them, that caused other people to go against them, in the highest level of punishment, to the point of complete annihilation after the ultimate suffering to destroy their neshama. Things that you have no concept what they mean. HaKadosh Baruch Hu still doesn't and has to do it in order to maintain the honor of his Torah, his name, and of course his other children that sacrificed their lives to upkeep both. We do not want anyone to be on the bad side. We want everyone to be on the good side. But that's not a reality. Reality is that there's going to be some people on the bad side. We hope they do tshuva.